Here's the deal, you guys. Artificial intelligence, AI, it's coming, it's real, and it's coming really fast. And it's gonna yeet half the jobs we know into oblivion faster than you can say self-checkout kiosk. Now, I was arguing with my buddy Roberto earlier today while he was literally hiding under his bed, telling me how Skynet is going to turn us all into a bunch of unemployed couch potatoes, unmoored from any meaning. A lesser crime by AI would just be turning us into critters burnt to a crisp when they launch the nukes in some robotic apocalypse. Honestly, to him, I'm not sure which is worse, because he's very big on meaning in life. And you know what? In all fairness to him, the rest of the public is freaking out as well. Polls show that 60% of Americans believe that AI can take their jobs by the year 2030. And to be fair, they're probably not wrong to be spooked, depending on what you do. Maybe even if you don't think you have a reason, you should be worried. But let me paint you a picture, because this is not just necessarily a doom spiral. It's actually a chance to break free from the soul-crushing grind we've been conned into calling life. First off, AI has already got its digital claws in so many things. Just to give you an example, in Iran, they have artificial intelligence cameras snitching on women for not wearing the hijab while driving. They use AI facial recognition to instantly sift through images caught on the road and promptly, within minutes, texting them warnings, fines, or threats. It's Big Brother in absolute poetic motion. Real time, 1984 Iran. In China, it's tracking every single move that you make. They dock your social credit score if you jaywalk or forget to salute the nearest CCC billboard. During COVID in Shanghai, when the city was completely locked down, artificial intelligence caught people out on their balconies screaming without masks and automatically read their facial patterns, decided who it was, and deducted money from their accounts. This is very real, and frankly, as somebody who very much believes in freedoms, it's scary as hell. The fear propaganda that people are talking about, it's not just hype. It's governments and corporations whispering, "Be afraid, peasants. We wish to control you better." They'll dangle AI like a boogeyman to justify lockdowns, surveillance, or whatever new flavor of tyranny they're cooking up. The elites, those at the very top, those arrogant few who think that they can decide for the rest of us, love that game. It's the same playbook as COVID, just swap out virus for robotic overlords. And honestly, in terms of what might be an immediate threat, what I consider to be the worst use of AI would be some eugenicist weirdo like Bill Gates dreaming of CRISPRing us all into compliant little drones, pushing nanobots into our bodies or changing our genes so that we're more compliant. Or maybe because they believe that there are too many humans on the planet, there might be a race between Fat Billy and Islamic or Chinese terrorists working for that state to see who can CRISPR a more virulent COVID-style virus that will be able to take care of populations that they find problematic. Now, that's the dark side, and it's not exactly science fiction any longer. But here is where Roberto and the doomers are missing the plot. And I'm going to scream it from the rooftops. AI does not have to be our executioner. It could be our liberator, if we play this right. Look, the public's terrified because they're picturing a world where they become, shall we say, obsolete, and they're replaced by some shiny Tesla bot flipping burgers, writing code, or driving you around, which is already starting to happen. And yes, the McKinsey group, the illustrious consulting group that charges so much, says 30% of current jobs could be automated by the year 2030. That means definitely truck and Uber drivers, cashiers, burger flippers, maids, even half the suits pushing papers around various cubicles. But to contrast this and to give you hope, let me hearken back to centuries ago in the Middle Ages, where everybody on the planet literally was a serf, breaking our backs, tilling soil 16 hours a day with the prayer that dysentery didn't suddenly appear within your body. And then a few centuries of plant, toil, harvest, have a kid, die, and repeat the process. Tractors rolled in, and suddenly human beings weren't chained to a plow. Did that ruin us? No. It freed us to build cities, skyscrapers, invent the iPhone and computers, and argue on X about really who's the true victim of society. AI, my friends, it's the same deal as the tractor from all the technology in the Industrial Revolution that freed us, but it's on steroids. And here my buddy is whining about efficiency merely for efficiency's sake. Where is the meaning? He's crying. He yells out into the void, like it's going to leave us all hollow, staring into a vast sea of nothingness. But let's get real, guys. Is it really, truly meaningful to scan barcodes at Walmart for 40 years? Or to shuffle Excel sheets until your eyes bleed? Just to give you an example, when I was 16 years old, I spent a summer bagging groceries at Safeway in an effort to save money for a car. And there was, at that time, a 30-year-old black guy already working as a cashier. 25 years later, I went back to the same store. And the same guy, Keith, was still there ringing up my purchase, but with a ton more gray hair. Let me ask you, sincerely, and leave it in the comments, do you consider that to be a life? I personally consider that to be a slow motion lobotomy. There's no growth. AI can remove that monotonous task. They can take that garbage off of our plates of needed chores to do. Imagine a world where robots are handling the grunt work, driving, farming, folding laundry. And the goods available are dirt cheap and incredibly plentiful because production becomes so vastly more efficient. You're not slaving away. Instead, you have time to paint, to write, to build a cabin, or just to argue with your cousin about politics over a six-pack. That, my friends, is freedom from monotony. The catch, though, the elites should definitely make sure not to hoard all of the benefits accrue to the very top 2-3% in order that we have a cohesive society. And at that point, money would not have the same stranglehold over us as it does today, because the marginal cost of production would be very, very low. That's the good news. But as I said, the transition is going to be messy. There's no way around it. It's not like when the tractors showed up, everybody just became poets overnight. Jobs with AI will vanish. Uber's toast when Tesla's robo-taxis hit the freeways. And don't cry for the drivers either, because it's not exactly like they're living the dream now. But history is clear. Human beings, we find a way, we pivot. The Industrial Revolution, for example, killed weavers. Then it gave us factories. The internet, travel agent, your job got nuked. But coders were birthed, as well as YouTube influencers. AI is going to spawn jobs that we can't even dream of. I mean, as an example, maybe a virtual reality world builder or an AI ethics wrangler. The public I mean, in fairness, they're scared because they can't see it yet. But that's because we're stuck thinking in a linear manner in an exponential world. But this is my main warning about AI. We have to act fast. Without laws to keep AI from becoming Big Brother's best friend, we are screwed. We absolutely need guardrails, and we needed them yesterday to stop governments and corporations from turning facial recognition into a global leash, which is what would happen if China got their way and exports their system to very willing countries like Great Britain. Look, had we elected what's her dumbass name, they would have greased the downhill train tracks towards a dystopian 1984-like United States, where any utterance against the orthodoxy of the state would earn you a one-way ticket to the Ministry of Love. And if you don't recognize that reference, it's the department from Orwell's visionary novel, which oversaw the surveillance, arrest, and of course, punishment of thought criminals, defined as those who even think about opposing the party. It would be a little bit like Minority Report, where you can read using AI your thoughts ahead of time and then arrest you before you even do anything. And I hate to say it, but that's exactly what the arrogant globalists want to institute around the world. So there is no escape from this China-style oligarchy and rule over the masses, where we are mere pawns in their game of power. Now, the good news, though, is that Donald Trump was elected, and he and his crew might slow the surveillance state. But don't kid yourself. Nobody's safe unless we demand and codify our freedoms into not only law, but computer code. That means that we need ethicists within the AI companies, but you're going to get so many different AIs, it's going to be very difficult. Nevertheless, Roberto, my man, and those of you out there who think like him, please stop worrying about conscious robots going Terminator. The real threat, my friends, are the human idiots that are programming the AI, like Google when they released Gemini that had black Nazis when you wanted an image of a Nazi being created because you know DEI and everything like that, and oppression, and how black, illustrious, beautiful couples could be created an image of, but they wouldn't do it for whites. That is also a very big challenge. But however, if we get this right, AI is not the end of humanity. It's our ticket to lives where we get to enjoy without the monotony of the boring tasks that today we are forced to repeat in order to exist. So my advice, please, let's quit panicking. Let's grab on to the reins and make sure this tech frees us instead of chaining us to some dystopian hellscape. Now, my friends, who's buying the first round?